Back. Well, the Treasurer is ramping up his rhetoric against the Reserve Bank, shifting blame for the faltering economy. Have a look.
The combination of global economic uncertainty and higher interest rates is smashing household budgets and slowing our economy considerably.
Well, I'm joined now by Judo Bank Chief Economist Warren Hogan. Warren, welcome to the show. Look, these comments come ahead of the national account figures that are going to be released on Wednesday. How bad are you expecting they'll be?
Hi, Sherry. Look, they're going to be very soft. In fact, we may see no growth at all in the economy in the 3 months to June, and the annual rate of growth will be 1% or even a bit weaker. And this is the slowest rate of real economic growth since the early 1990s recession. So this is going to portray an economy with very weak consumer spending, no growth in the construction sector outside of infrastructure, and of course, an inflation pulse that's still persistent and hanging around.
So a technical recession is 2 quarters of negative growth. We don't know what the figures are yet. We'll see the national account figures on Wednesday. But are you expecting this could be the first?
Well, it could be. We had some very weak partial data today for income, particularly non-mining profits. Were soft, and mining profits were down quite a lot. So there's every chance we could get a small fall, but I doubt we'll see it replicated in Q3, i.e. back to back. And even if we did, it would be a technical recession only. We're a long way away from a real recession, a genuine recession, because we're creating so many jobs. There's been 318,000 jobs created in the first 7 months of the year.
But clearly, with the economy softening, potentially no growth at all, this is the Treasurer trying to frame the argument, trying to look at who is to blame here. He clearly sees the 13 interest rate rises that we've had as a reason. What he says, it's smashing the economy. So do you see this now as a rift between the government and the RBA on economic strategy, or is this more of a political statement from the Treasurer?
Look, I think this is definitely political strategy, both in terms of this week's numbers and getting ahead of what's going to be a lot of headlines on Wednesday about a soft economy. But I think this is what we can expect running right up to the election. They got a lot of benefit out of getting stuck into Phil Lowe when he was around, and it looks like they're about to ramp it up again on Michelle Bullock. The reality is we're seeing rates come down overseas, and we're not going to get rate cuts here, and the RBA has all but said that. The government's desperate for a rate cut, of course, for political reasons. But the risk is we get a rate hike still. I mean, we hope not, but we have not increased interest rates to a level that we can be confident we're going to get rid of this cost of living crisis.
Exactly. With inflation remaining persistent and sticky, it does seem like a rate hike might be more likely than a rate cut, certainly for this year at least. Now, this attack, if you like, from the Treasurer on the RBA comes after the Governor, Michelle Bullock, blamed the government of keeping inflation sticky by their spending. So in a way, do you think this is a bit of return fire from the Treasurer?
Well, look, the governor, or more specifically the senior staff and the forecasters at the RBA, the numbers don't lie. They've got to stick in there what's going on in this economy. And in the last 3 months, seeing all the state and federal budgets, they've had to increase their forecast for government spending growth, go from about 2% to 4%. And of course, 4% government spending is a lot more than GDP. And that's this idea that we're putting demand into an economy that can't grow because it's at its full capacity, and that's inflationary. And so the government will argue the economy is weak, the RBA should be considering cuts. The RBA and economists who are focused on this will say there's a lot of demand in the economy and inflation ain't going anywhere. And that's because government spending growth has been so strong. And of course, we're creating jobs, which is great news, but that's new income in the economy and new demand in the economy.
Yeah, and then, of course, there's the immigration levels too. Warren Hogan, always great to hear your analysis. Thank you.